Good morning, Caribbean. It's RJ back with another video. So let's get to it. Final day of the week, and here's hoping that by now, and again, as I sit filming this, it is exactly 1 week from when you were 1 week before you are watching this. And the Phillies, in my time, they're just about to start their playoff run against the Braves. As you're viewing this, let's hope that the Phillies have downed the Braves in a ball of fire. Sorry, Adam. That is my hope. I understand is your hope is the exact opposite. So a half-hearted good luck and rah-rah to you as well, sir. But let's go Phils. I hope they are moving on to the National League Championship Series. It is also the last day of my showcase of more Stu stuff. My friend Stu, who is going through his collection. Again, Stu has a vast collection of autographs, pictures, and other types of memorabilia of many sports-related players, sports-related people, entertainment-related people, be it music, television, movies, vast array of entertainment-related items, and all things pop culture. An amazing collection that you would find if you're interested in getting anything from Stu. He's local to my area. But happy to put you guys together. Shout out one more time to John over at Wade Boggs Fan if you happen to come across this, or if anybody else knows John over at Wade Boggs Fan. I've been trying to let him know I found a really cool Wade Boggs collectible I think he might be interested in, but maybe he already has it, so no more on that. Let's move on to today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day. This is from 2021, the Panini Prism. And it's funny, I was complaining about how many Prism parallels there were, and I have several. It's just that there's no way I'm going to get them all. But slowly, by one, I'm starting to pick up more of them because I'm looking on the bay, and it's been 2 years since these were released, and prices are starting to come down. This one is the Blue Donut Parallel. I don't know if that's the correct name, but that's what everybody calls it. Serial numbered out of 199. And it's Blue Donut because it's the blue prism, but has these little donuts in the background there. So that is my random Mike Schmidt item of the day. Random baseball item of the day. Very funny and interesting thing to show off, I think, for that day. So if you remember, I had said before, this is my second time going over to Stu's. The first time I went, I picked up this little item right here. I've shown this off after I got it. It's a little nesting doll from 2003. It's the last year of the vet. It's got the little arm patch they wore that season to honor Veterans Stadium the last season as they were moving into Citizens Bank Park in 2004. So this is the nesting doll. It's got Jim Thome, if you consider that looking like Jim Thome. Inside Jim Thome, I found Pat Burrell. Very cool. I picked this thing up, like I said, from Stu for about $5 a couple years ago. Inside Pat Burrell, I found Bobby Abreu. Now, who did I find inside Bobby Abreu? Nobody. I cannot open this. It is welded shut or something. You can see the effort I took to try and get into that person, that player. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it at all. So I have no idea who's inside Bobby Abreu. However, when I left and I got home, I was kind of like annoyed, but I knew from having been there and the little shelf that this was on, that Stu had others. He had more copies of that little... Sorry about that. He had more copies of that little nesting doll. So, of course, I picked one up. So I have a better one. And this one, I made sure before I left, this one opens. So let's take a look. Once you get past Thome, and then you got Burrell. Let me do it that way. Thome. You got Burrell. You got Abreu. Who else is inside? Let's take a look. Thome. Burrell. And then, sporting the Philly Blues, Mike Lieberthal. By the way, Phillies never wore a blue outfit like this. It was all that powder blue. Mike Lieberthal was the catcher. And then inside Mike Lieberthal, the wee little babe of the nesting doll family, Jimmy Rollins. I thought that was kind of funny that Jimmy's the little guy inside the nesting dolls. So that is one of my random baseball items of the day, because when I went over to Stu's the first time, I realized he had two different styles of nesting dolls. Now, he had a couple of these as well, and I think somebody before me, when they opened it, they opened up a couple of these and got them mixed up, because this one is very loose. This is Kevin Millwood on the outside, and it is very, very loose. And these nesting dolls are usually not that badly assembled. So I think somebody put the wrong top on this one, and there's a tight top on a different one or something like that. Anyway, doesn't matter. It'll just sit on the shelf and no one will know. Kevin Millwood. Inside Kevin Millwood, you got, and this guy actually looked like Mike Lieberthal when I first saw him, but it's not. This is Randy Wolf, another great pitcher for the Phillies back in the early 2000s, before they got good again. This one is Vicente Padilla. I do remember Vicente. I thought he was a lot better, but he never became a superstar, although he pitched well for us and then a couple other teams over the years. Inside Vicente Padilla, you got Milton. I can't remember what Milton's first name was. Brad Milton, Jeff Milton, I don't know. Somebody out there will tell me, or I'll look it up, or maybe it's not important to anybody. But again, he's in the blue, the fake blue, not the powder blues. Jeff Milton. And again, who is the little kid of the bunch? Very, very young-looking Brett Meyer. I'm not sure about that cheesy smile, people. Brett Meyer, who was a very young player back in the 2000s, early 2000s for us. So those, I should say, are my random baseball items of the day. Moving on to the trivia question. Let's talk trivia. So, again, it's all about the Phillies during this week and their playoff run. So we're talking a lot about great Phillies teams over the years. And people will remember this who are, more recent aficionados. The last time the Phillies had a great team, one year, they had a team that was so dominant from a pitching standpoint, it was called the Four Aces. Now, it was a little insulting to the fifth starting pitcher on the Phillies that year, but they had five crazy, awesome pitchers. Pitchers that people thought, oh my gosh, nobody's going to stop the Phillies this year. We can all go home. They're going to win the World Series. We'll see you next year. Their starting rotation in this year was Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, and Roy Oswalt. Big name pitchers in their day. The final one was a guy named Joe Blanton, who had a pretty darn good season for the Phillies back in 2008, even though it was just a half season, hitting a home run in the 2008 World Series. So, Joe Blanton's no snub, and everybody forgot all about him. They were always talking about the other four, because the other four were so, established aces on any staff, really. They really could have been the ace on any staff, any one of those four. So the question for you is, in what year did the Phillies field that rotation? Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, Roy Oswalt, and Joe Blanton. In what year did they have that rotation? That was actually a year they won 102 games. They set the Phillies franchise record. I know the Braves just came off a season with 107 wins, so 102 doesn't sound that impressive in all things considering, but it was their franchise. It is their franchise best. So what year was that? All right, the prize for getting in that question, really cool card from 2020. It is a Bryce Harper Topps Gallery Tribute National Baseball Card Day 2020. It's actually a random insert in a different product. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't released in Gallery. It was released in a different product and had that cool National Trading Card Day logo on it. So send me an email. My email will be in the description below, along with a repeat of the question. You'll have the day and tomorrow to answer. We'll pick one on Sunday, and somebody's going to win that great card, all right? So moving on today. Today what I want to show off are some games. Now, there's a story behind that, but the first one I want to show off is my final Stu entry that I'm going to show off. This is the way it came. This is, it was in Stu's collection of stuff, but since it's a baseball game, I thought it was worth having in my collection. Now, because it was such a bad looking thing, I ripped this. This was not torn before I got the package. It wasn't Stu who tore it. I tore this myself. Look at this. There's like a hair embedded in the plastic or something. I don't know what that is all about, but it is simply a baseball card game. There are no star players. In fact, that image of the player here, that's the back of all the cards. It's called it's Chucker baseball game. There's rules and directions on the back. You can see it came from a company called BJK Enterprises and is dated, where did I see the date? Right on the cards themselves, 1975. And on the front are various terms that I guess controlled the play of the game. I really don't know because I didn't read the directions. I'm really not that interested. It's just, a cool little baseball item for my collection. It really, you could say you never should have broken it, even though the package is crap. It would have been better to be unaltered, and probably so, but I just wanted to look and see what it was. And it came from Stu, probably for $1. I'm not sure what he charged me. I just threw everything in a big pile and said, tell me what you want for it all. And he gave me a number. So that is the last thing I have to show you from Stu. But the other day, right now, the wife and I are cleaning out the garage. We're gonna build a set of shelves on one side of the garage. And to do that, we're getting rid of a lot of stuff and moving a lot of stuff. And there's an old coffee table in the garage. It's where I kept a lot of games when I played with the kids. So now, this being my baseball room, it had a lot of baseball related games in it. So actually, give me 1 second. I want to walk over to my baseball bin here. I put something in the baseball bin that I want to get out because this is what the other thing I want to show is also some games, and I'd forgotten that I put it away. Oh, so now I gotta rummage through my bins here to drag it out and show y'all, but I think it's worth showing. This is one of those things you get from your kids on Father's Day or Christmas or something like that because they know Daddy likes baseball. So, baseball games. When you think games and you think games related to your sport, one of the first things you think of in baseball are card games. And of course, back in the day, this company was making these cards of every team. The Uno Phillies card game. Now, they made this a couple different years. This one is 2005. So you'll see your Jim Thome in here. Fanatic had a couple cards in there. And I think some of the other coaches, managers, broadcasters, and whatnot make an appearance. But this is the 2005 version. I also picked up another Uno game. This one, I'm trying to look at the date on the back. This one from 2010. So you got your World Series champion, some of your World Series champs on this one. So I got 2 Phillies Uno games. And again, I've had these for a while. I never showed them off because they've been sitting in the garage, because that's where I had all my games that I used to play. And I actually played some of these games with the kids. Now, if you're a collector of games for your sport, this is another game everybody has for their team or their sport. You got your baseball. This is Major League Baseball Monopoly. It is not team specific. It is simply Major League Baseball. And if you look on the back, it's the teams. The teams are the properties. And of course, the Yankees, the American or Boardwalk, because they are the most prolific American League team. And interesting, they have a nod to the Cardinals in the Park Place space. And again, that is because, what do I want to say? The Cardinals are the best team from the National League as far as World Series wins is concerned. The other Monopoly I have, fantastic little set here, Phillies Monopoly. Phillies Monopoly. This is the 2008 World Series Championship release. And I have played this. This is not sealed. I have opened this. It doesn't need to be sealed. It'll never be worth anything. Even 100 years from now, the Phillies Monopoly will not hold much value. But it's a game I had to have in my collection. Moving on. Additional games I had. I do this a lot. When I see a baseball game, I might buy it. This is just called the Ultimate Baseball Trivia Board Game. It is generic. It is, includes rookie categories, for base beginners and all the way up to really hard trivia questions. It's just a box set with a board and some cards and things. Not even interesting, but I had to have it because it's baseball. This game is fantastic. The premier edition of the official World Series board game. I want to say this was back in the mid-90s. But I used to play this all the time with my daughter from 1993. And she loved it. And I loved it. It's got a lot of really cool things. It's got a replica ring and a replica World Series trophy. This is actual size, so they're very teeny. But this game, if you guys ever find it, if you like games about baseball, and you can find this one, it is an awesome, awesome game. Right along the lines with Monopoly and Uno, I got the Major League Baseball Scrabble edition. Again, just because I'm such a baseball wacko, I have to have everything baseball related. And I don't play this one too much because nobody else cares to join me, but I had it. And then lastly, something I don't think I ever showed this off before, but I've had this for years. It's not a game, so to speak. It is a jigsaw puzzle. It is all the hats from Major League Baseball back in '94. So you'll see the Marlins made the cut, and the Rockies made the cut as two of the newer teams in baseball. So that is the extent of what I pulled out of that old coffee table that had been sitting in the garage for several years. So that's all I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed that little trip down baseball gaming memory lane, so to speak. That'd be a good one. Baseball Candyland. What do you think? Anyway, hope you all enjoyed that video. If you did, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, and all that jazz. I really do appreciate your support as I try my best to support everybody else in this great card community, all right? Come back again on Sunday. We'll do the trivia recap. And go Phils, if they're still alive. Go Braves. Nah, I'm sorry. I ain't going to give you that one, Adam. But congrats if you're going on anyway. So thanks for watching. Take care.